The interconnected lives of patients and doctors. Let's welcome to the stage Roni Zeiger.
Very special to be here with you today. I feel like I'm at home, and not because of the geography, but because of Medicine X. So I was asked to share a little bit about what we're doing at Smartpatients. And because I really feel like I'm among friends, I thought I'd start by just sharing how it began. So I was having a great time with the best job on the planet at Google, and a guy named Gilles Friedman contacted me. Actually, Dave DeBronkart introduced us, troublemakers, all. And Gilles said to me, you know, I've been working on the system of online communities for cancer patients. And really what I've got is a bunch of silos. We've got melanoma here, the lung cancer community here, the kidney cancer community here, and I think we're missing something, and I need someone who understands technology to help me. So many conversations passed, and I decided to leave Google, and we started Smartpatients together, which is really an extension of the work that he'd been doing for so many years with many others at Acor. And it's become clear to me that as I've learned from groups like you, is that this isn't about big data. This is about stories. This is much more social than science. And even more importantly, it is silly of us to try to make the distinction. So I'm going to give you a quick tour just of what the system looks like, just for context, and then I want to talk about something much more important. So you're seeing here a gently de-identified screenshot from Smartpatients. And Samantha, who was just diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, is asking her community, what do I do? Help me feel that I'm not alone, and help me understand how I should anticipate and prepare for the fact that I'm going to start taking this interesting targeted therapy, because not only do I have lung cancer with an EGFR mutation. Patients are talking about science, and they're not weirdos. Just imagine for a moment, if you don't already have this experience, what you would do if, God forbid, you or a loved one got a life-threatening diagnosis. Imagine how much you would make sure you knew weeks and months later, and that you would reach out to all of the resources that you have and understand what a resource your community is of people who are in your shoes and who have been in your shoes, who are just a couple of steps ahead of you in particular. And here we're logged in as Jack, and Jack has lung cancer that has spread to the bone. He has bone mets. And because he has bone mets, he is seeing the second conversation there, which is about a couple of promising, popular new drugs for bone metastases. And we've built Smartpatients. I mentioned the silos. And the most important thing about the design of this product, of this platform, is that it's meant to enable people to learn not just from those that are within their defined community, their label, but across silos. And this is happening in oncology in part because of molecular medicine. Personalized medicine is actually here in oncology, but we're seeing that it's across all issues. Some of the most important questions are things like, how do I deal with the sibling of a really sick kid? And that's relevant to parents across many different diagnoses, but usually we bucket people by organ system. And there's so much learning that can happen across these buckets. And that's the most important thing that we're trying to tap into. A lot of the conversations are about clinical trials. We didn't mean to do this. In fact, when the first members of our community started saying, hey guys, you're missing something, we said, no, you don't understand. We're not trying to build a clinical trial search engine. We're trying to build a community platform. We said, no, you don't understand. We're talking about clinical trials. Listen to your users. And finally, we did. And so we have a beautiful clinical trial search engine that's not designed to be a search engine. It's designed to let people find trials and, more importantly, have conversations about them. And so, again, these are patients, people talking about science in the context of their lives. And the learning for me and many of us is just spectacular. And they really want to contribute to science. And so we do many interesting projects, some of them with industry partners who are not invited to participate directly, but in transparent ways, we invite patients and caregivers in the system. There's actually about equal parts patients and caregivers. I kind of mush them together in my head, which is an oversimplification. But they want to answer questions if those questions are respectful and they understand that science will go faster if and when they participate. And that's just a beautiful process, and participatory research is a new concept in my mind. Perhaps we can talk about that next year as we learn a little bit more. Most of the conversations that we have about patients in the context of some of the research projects we do have turned out to be in the world of clinical trial design. So we don't do clinical trial recruitment. We talk to patients about how clinical trials could be more useful to them. And I've started using the term user-centered clinical trial design. And fun anecdote, every talk should have a Google search in it. And as of a couple days ago, there were no search results for user-centered clinical trial design. So obviously we have some work to do, and that's, I think, one of the most exciting things that we get to work on. But this is really about stories. Conversations about data without stories, I think are completely missing the point. And instead of hearing more about what I have to say, I want to share with you the story of a very special woman named Bonnie. I got to visit her last week, and this is a rough 2.5-minute video. It's not been edited. You'll forgive me for wanting to share it with you in this form, but I'm going to let it speak for itself and just say that she has stage 4 ovarian cancer. She recently decided to transition from targeted therapies to home hospice, and she really wants to share with people her experience so that more can learn from it.
The response from the tango community, by the way, was...
Sorry, oops, I'm going to go back. She said the response from the tango community, I should have mentioned that. She likes tango, and she has a lot of friends who do tango.
The response from the tango community, by the way, was tremendous. I marched in a couple weeks ago with my oxygen, portable oxygen. Well, I wheelchaired in. And my shoe bag, and put my dancing shoes on, and several people that I know came up and asked to dance with me. This is what 7 centimeters looks like, kids. These are Argentine tango shoes, Camille Faux, and yes, I can dance in these. Until relatively recently. I think I can still dance now if I didn't run out of air.
Say more about when you went to dance last
time. Sure. Tango is normally danced in sets of 3 dances. It's called a tanda. And it's considered rude to tell someone thank you and leave before the 3rd song. It's like, kiss off, buddy, I don't want to see you again. And it was real clear to me that with my energy level, I couldn't. And these partners that came up and danced with me understood that. So we'd dance a song, I'd sit down and we'd chat, and then we'd finish up the tanda. It was lovely, and with some of the nicest dancing I've ever had with a couple of these guys. They were so tender, so caring, and one of the things about Argentine tango, this is different than American tango. It's based a lot on the connection between partners. Let me tell you, when you're dependent on that other person for your oxygen, it's a connection like you wouldn't believe. It was really special. And I'm glad I got to do it. I'm sorry I didn't get to do it again. Well, you never know. As, what is it, Mahitable the cat says, there may still be another dance in the old dame yet. How long, I don't know. We'll see. For a long time I said, I found this in a fortune cookie a couple years ago. Dream like you'll live forever. Live like you'll die today. And then I added on to that. and die with your tango shoes on.
So Bonnie asked me if I could dance tango, and I don't dance very well at just about anything. But she showed me a little bit. She put on her shoes, her dancing shoes, and she also shared with me that when she used to go to chemo, she would wear her frog hat to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, and she put that on for us. And so, inspired by stories like these, we've collaborated with some interesting friends that we've met, a group called the Story Collider. Some of you may know them. If not, you should look up their podcast. It's incredible. And we're doing a project called Real Cancer Stories. And we just turned it on. We're raising some money to find and beautifully document some of the stories from people like Bonnie that they want told more broadly. The stories in writing in our community are amazing, but many of these stories, you just can't tell without faces and emotions like these. So we actually turned it on last night. A bunch of donations already. Tiny pitch, smartpatients.com/stories. Feel free to tweet. And there's just so much inspiration out there. It makes me feel like I can't believe that I get to do this for a living. I'll stop there and introduce Raj.